DJ Tony Drake.
This is DJ Tony Drake, aka Mr. Top Shelf himself, and right now you're in tune to Your World News, where journalism and activism are not mutually exclusive. Here on yourworldnews.org.
Welcome to another edition of Critical Insight on Your World News. I'm your host, Solomon Kamajan, and today we have a very, very special guest. I'm really honored. It's been a while. I've been trying to make this interview happen, and really thankful for our guest in terms of, clearing out some free time within her very busy and important schedule. And that's none other than activist, lawyer, poet, everything. Our special guest is Ezili Danto of the Free Haiti movement, and I want to just welcome you onto the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Much appreciated.
Definitely. I want to get out, before we get into a lot of the nuts and bolts of this interview, and this is going to be a jam-packed interview with a lot of information. I'm so excited because this is another opportunity for us to get critical information out to the masses, expose the masses, because this critical information that we're going to discuss today, obviously, the U.S. corporate media is never going to discuss it. The MSNBCs, the CNNs, the ABCs, the Fox Newses, and the like. But before we get started, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, about the Free Haiti movement, as well as another organization that you're a part of, the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network, and what those two organizations are about?
I will. Thank you for asking me. Honor and respect to you and to all your listeners. So I was born in Haiti, and I was raised in the United States. And the first time the United States took out the first democratically elected president, that's when I went back. I went back when I met Aristide in exile, and I went back. And when I went back, there was an organization. He had asked for me to put together lawyers that might want to go back to Haiti and help reform the system and assist with the victims of the coup d'etat. So that was what the Haitian Lawyers Leadership started as. When I got to Haiti in 1994, which is the first time I ever went back since I was a young child, my parents had left Haiti because of the Duvalier dictatorship, and they wanted their children to have a better life and so on. So the Haitian Lawyers Leadership is an organization dedicated to institutionalizing the rule of law and protecting and defending the civil, human, and economic rights of Haitians living at home and abroad. And then in 2004, when the United States came back and took out Aristide and deported him to Africa, I started the Free Haiti movement. So it was on February 29th, 2004, that they deported the legally, democratically elected president. And that same day, I started the Free Haiti movement to liberate Haiti, and we've been going since.
Thank you. A lot of folks, and this is by design, obviously, a lot of Americans, and especially African Americans, don't know the history, the really bright, strong history of the nation of Haiti, how it came to be, the liberation struggle. And I know that's a movie in itself, and I know I saw you in 1804, and so I know it's so much information that that you can't even put it into a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hour movie. So I'm asking you, it's somewhat of a loaded question, just because I know there's no honest way of giving a synopsis of that. So, take as much time as you want. But I wanted to know if you could give our viewers kind of a snapshot of the history of Haiti, how it came to be, and even the Africans that were stolen and kidnapped from the continent of Africa and brought to Haiti, and even if you want to tie in, the indigenous people that occupied Haiti, that before the Columbuses and all these other Europeans came there and committed genocide and all the other nefarious crimes against humanity that they did, and and then getting into this brilliant, Black Republic and its founding.
Yes. Well, it is the most glorious story, and it is the narrative that keeps Haiti from falling within the clutches of the imperialists today. It is the narrative that provided the platform to liberate all of the Black woman, the Black man's children all across the world.
That's right.
Haiti is unique in that it was the only ever in world history space where a revolution actually changed the power structure so that the enslaved became the masters. The enslaved freed themselves. Only place in human history that we can find where this has happened, at least in recorded history. So the European has let's first establish that everything we learn in school about history is a lie and half spins. Once we understand that, then let's understand that the world started a whole lot longer than where the Abrahamic religion starts. But for Haiti, 1503 is the time when the first boatload of Africans, people of color, Black folks, were brought to what they call the New World. And what they call the New World is the Western Hemisphere, which the European did not know existed, and so forth. So anyways, in 1492, with the fall of Grenada, and it's really important to understand the continuation, right? In American history, we're just taught that 1492, Columbus came, and then, the whole New World started. But it was a continuation of a war going on in Africa. And in that war, the Arabs in the Iberian Peninsula had lost, and Grenada fell in 1492. At that time, the Europeans were deporting. You know how they deport Haitians out of other spaces? Well, they were deporting at that time what they call the Moors everywhere. And one of the first boatloads came from that peninsula, came to Haiti. They were deporting them back to Africa to whiten their nations because there's a white fear of genetic annihilation. And this is critically important to why the Dominican Republic exists and what it does to Haiti, right? It's the same pattern. The patterns do not change. So when Bartholomew de la Casa, who was a priest out of Hispaniola, so when Columbus came into this indigenous space, it was ruled by what the Europeans call the Tainos. But what we know is that there were various Black groups in Haiti. We have the Caracoles. That anybody who wants to know who the Caracoles are, just put Belize, the island of Belize, and look at the Belize pyramids. You see the Caracol. What do you call those things? Pyramids, and inside the pyramids you have these pictures of the Caracoles. Well, when the earthquake happened in 2010 and Mr. and Mrs. Clinton came into Haiti, they came into Haiti to create a sweatshop at Caracol Bay in Haiti. So, and part of really what that's about is digging up our history and carting it away so that they can change history. When the European looks for himself, he can't find himself and his remains. So what he does is that he takes what he finds and he puts it in some sort of basement in some place so that nobody really knows history. And so that's what we're talking about. So in 1492, you have this invasion of the space that's called Haiti. That is its indigenous name, and it means my homeland. Haiti is over 1 billion years old, my homeland. There's a lot of connotations to that. I won't go through it, but you could watch some of my other videos where I speak about the geographic importance of this land, and how 66 million years ago there was some sort of event where a meteor hit Haiti and broke that landmass. And underneath Haiti, there is a crater, and you all can look it up, of that particular, how big that meteor was and what happened. What's interesting is that somehow the life forms that were there actually survived because we have rocks and other things that shows us inscriptions that are dated back to those times. So we are, Haiti is an ancient space. At the top there, where you see Cuba, there are the blue pyramids. Beyond, under the water, there are pyramids up above Mont Saint Nicolas, which are other places in Haiti in the north. And there are caves that people say that can go all the way down from Haiti to the Yucatan, which is how we say that a lot of the Africans who were enslaved came to Haiti and fought during the Haitian Revolution. We know that after 300 years of enslavement, so when Columbus and his merry men of rapists and pedophiles came into Haiti, they found really what would be called a paradise in terms of the greenery, the fauna. Even today, after all the ravages of 500 years of European plunder, Haiti still has a space called a lake, for instance, Lake Azoué, where we have 11 species that are found nowhere else in the world. Over at Caracol Bay, where I was talking to you about, where they came and put a sweatshop, which is a hoax, really. It's a space for European investment into our nations, is about exporting our resources. So they're always going to put a big infrastructure in a place where they can then cart out our resources. So Caracol's very close to the water, to the shore, and they're just carting our resources. I mean, they used to cart them out and still are carting them out through the Labadie. Labadie is a space in Haiti that the Caribbean Cruise Line uses, and no one would think that they're in Haiti. But if you look at the U.S. State Department of Commerce, you would see that Labadie is a platform for exporting out of Haiti. And so that's what they use, right? They use all sorts of cloaks, whether it's a cruise line or a port or a sweatshop, to just cart out your resources without your knowledge. And so in 1503, you have this first boatload of Africans, Bartholomew de la Casa. At that time, when they came in 1492, within 15 years, they had genocided the entire population. And they say there was about 1 million or so people on that island. In that million or so, I'm going to say two names because we always remember them. Haiti has been fighting since the beginning. So Queen Kawa, what is her name? Kawanabo is her brother, and her name is Ana Kawana. And she was the queen who fought the rape and so forth. And she was eventually caught with the same kind of lies, because whenever you're beating the European, they'll ask you to come and talk. And unfortunately, we still don't understand that these people have absolutely no morality. And so we go and we talk thinking they're like us, that they come from a space of honor and respect and their word is bond, but it's never bond. And so when Queen Ana Kawana went to speak to these folks, they took her, they gave her a choice of being a sex slave or death, and she chose death. Her brother, who was a cacique, who was a chief at that time, was the first Haitian to get rid of a colony, because the first colony was left in Haiti. It was called Fort Navidad, and it was left in the north. And Kawanabo destroyed that. And we have been fighting since then. So we're talking about since 1492 to today, 2019. And in the line of Queen Anakawana, in the line of Kawanabo, there comes 300 years later, in 1791, Bookman, a guy out of Jamaica. And then there comes Dessalines, and there comes Toussaint Louverture, and Grand Guiton, and Grand Toya, and Défilé, and Marie-Jeanne. These are the women warriors and men warriors who took on the powers. They took on the powers of Napoleon, who was at war with the other European tribes, and the British and the Spanish. So we beat 3 European powers, the British, the Spanish, and the French, to create the land that we took back the name of Haiti, which means my sacred homeland. Before the European got to Haiti, there was trade and familial relationship between us in Africa, the landmass that's called Africa. So when the European took the Haitians, what became the Haitians, we are the amalgamated tribe. So we come from all over West Africa, the Congo, Angola, all over that landmass, and of course the islands, to become this one. So this is where diversity has never wavered, because no Haitian will say to you, I'm Fawn or Dahomian or Akan or Congo. They would say, I am Haitien, Haiti. And so at the Free Haiti movement, the reason that we exist, of course, is because of the struggle that our ancestors never gave up. And so we continue that struggle, and we use the template that they left at Bois-Caïma on August 14, 1791, when they began the Haitian Revolution. And Free Haiti continues that Haitian Revolution. What's really important about what happened in 1791 is that a people that had been ravaged and raped and stripped of their humanity for 300 years, from 1503 till 1804, when we won our independence, took up arms and said liberty or death. What was revolutionary about that is that all of the Abrahamic religions never rejected enslavement. Haiti is that one place where we did what even the Nazarene never did, where Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the greatest hero who ever lived, stood up and said, we are independent and free. We have a long line, and we are warriors. And in that space, they overturned these armies. They used a lot of what they knew about, let's say, the old world, since the Europeans started the new world, in order to beat the forces of the European. And when I say the old world, I'm talking about they used everything within their space. Today, people study the Haitian Revolution in every war college there is. The only people that don't seem to do it is Haitians. They're so busy trying to be something else, because that's what imperialism does. Imperialism makes you want to, takes away from you who you are it makes you want to be something else. And then, so you lose all the time. So essentially, with the Haitian Revolution, you have the island was taken over by the Spanish on behalf of Queen Isabella for that Christopher Columbus was working for. And then within 100 years, the French took one side of the island, and so it was divided into two. But when in 1791 we started the revolution and we won for the entire island. Dominican Republic did not exist when Haiti won its independence. That's one thing I want to make always clear, only because when we did the Tariq Nasheed 1804 movie, I think that people may not that wasn't as clear as I wanted it to come off in terms of what others might have said. So Dominican Republic did not exist when Haiti won its independence. When Haiti won its independence, it had fought the French, and then it allied with the Spanish and fought. So we fought against the French, the Spanish, the English, and then when Leclerc came with his army, we fought them again. To give you numbers, at the beginning of the Haitian Revolution, there was about 500,000 black folks in Haiti. And then there were about maybe 60,000 what they call affranchis, men of color. They were the mulatto sons of the European, and they would do what they do today. They send them to their schools, they're what they call their Harvards and their Yales and their Cornells and their Columbias, right? They get them educated and then they send them back to become the bane of our existence. It was happening back then too, right? So they would have these children, whether from rape or from taking a black woman, and then they would send them back to become what they call the chasseurs, right? They would put them in this little army to go and chase the Maroons. And that's where Pétion comes from. That's where Boyer comes from. That's where these mulatto sons of France came from. And they actually were in that boat in 1802 when when Napoleon sent his brother-in-law to re-enslave Haitians. They were in that boat, the diaspora, the Haitian diaspora. And to this day, we fight the bulk of the Haitian diaspora whose education is the European education and who are about European development. And European development is making you a brothel. The way, if you read the Cuban Revolution, this is one of the things they talked about. We want our women to be protected from these northern rapists and pedophiles, and and this is what they make, and this is what the Dominican Republic is, right? The Dominican Republic women are the fourth most trafficked women in the world. They send them to Spain to service these people till this day, and that's what we're fighting against. That's what Free Haiti does. We go after the pedophiles. We go after this idea that what they call tourism. Like I said, tourism was when you serve this European powers with your body as maids, butlers, sex objects, and all the best that's in your country is taken by them. So in terms of Haiti's history, the biggest things to understand is that when the Africans took up arms, they swore that they knew that they themselves would not probably enjoy the fruits of these labors and this warriorship. But for me, for the descendants, they fought so that I would be here, so that you would be free. Some of the most important things that Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Haiti's founding father, did, for instance, besides giving Miranda printing press and to go out and try to liberate the Bolivian states up there, where Venezuela and Colombia and Ecuador is today. He also said any ship captain who comes in with cargo, if you bring your cargo to Haiti, this is the land of the free, we will pay you $40 a head for every single black enslaved person that you let us free. And this is after we won independence, and this is when we really had no money, no resources. And so this is what Haiti did. In addition, Miranda was the first who came, a warrior coming from, the Bolivian states there. He didn't succeed, and then Pichon, the guy that actually helped the next guy, Bolivar, and so we helped with soldiers, printing press, and money to free 5 Latin American states. We also later on in Haiti's history, we also sent resources to stop the Italians from colonizing Ethiopia. But for all of that, there was a country that had become independent right before us. 1776, the United States became independent from England, and it never forgave us because of the slavery it had in the South. And so the United States has always been the bane of our existence. They were the first to recognize the Dominican Republic even before they wanted to become a state. It's like recognizing Guaido today.
Yeah, right.
So Guaido has absolutely no legitimacy to be anything in Venezuela. But the same thing happened with Haiti. Haiti had an earthquake in 1842 and was dealing with the devastations of that. And in that space, the United States, what they did in 2010, they did in that space. In that space, they created helped create an opposition and then say, oh, this is a separate state. The Dominican Republic is as if the South had won the war. They are on our borders. They come from that space where, in their mind and subconscious, the Spanish have a fear of genetic annihilation because of the Arab conquests, and so they have that fear, and so Haiti to them represents that fear. They have taught their people that because it was one land mass, that means, my grand could be there, but that person is taught that he is a descendant of, the Spanish, and they call them Indio as opposed to Africans. Yeah. So they're very confused about who they are. And in 1929, the United States had slavery up until the Civil War. During that time, those 60 years, they had an embargo on Haiti, and that sort of embargo you see now that they have on Venezuela, where they would freeze your assets, they would stop you from creating a merchant marine so that you can trade your resources and grow. Well, for 60 years, the sort of embargo you see on Cuba. Ours were longer than what they have the ones in Cuba since the 1960s, but they had it from 1804 all the way to the Civil War, and in that time, the Europeans just kept trying to come back. And in 1825, the Pétion, the guy in Boyer, those mulatto sons of France who helped to kill Jean-Jacques Dessalines in 1806. Agreed to pay independence debt to France. so that France could be paid for losing my grand-grands as property, even though we had had 300 years of enslavement and given them free labor, and the children of my womb was their property, even though we then had 13 years war where half the population died. There were 500,000 Haitians, black folks on that island. 250 died during those 13 years. We paid that for our independence in blood. And then we were forced by the European tribes, by England and France and the United States to pay an independence debt. And that paradigm is a paradigm that so worked for the European, they decided not to have chattel slavery anymore, but to have debt. And this is what's happening all over the 53, 54 African nation states in Africa and all over the global South, is that they put debt and put you back in slavery, which is what they did with the sharecropping in America. Once U.S. blacks got their freedom, they effectively put them back into slavery by putting them to work on the plantation as wage owners, and then used all the sort of corporate debt they would never ever move out of that specific position. That's what they did to Haiti, but Haiti did eventually pay that debt in 1947. It took us 122 years, and of course, usury. The United States came to Haiti for 19 years, from 1915 to 1934, during the time of the World Wars. They wanted to use us to make rubber plants for their war machine. They wanted to get rid of some of the Europeans that had come into Haiti, the Germans and the French, and put their own immigrational folks there. So Haiti has been intervened since its independence. So for 2 years we were free, 1804 to 1806, until that was the first coup d'etat. The first coup d'etat was the assassination of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. So we are the template, the laboratory that is used to whatever the United States is doing in Haiti, it will then take to Venezuela. There are mercenaries that are brought into Haiti to maintain the population and keep the puppet government in power. Those mercenaries will be sent to Venezuela to infiltrate their military also, in order to create the chaos and make as if Guaido, for instance, has some sort of weight within his military. They will put military grade ski mask kind of thing on them, so you can't tell that they're Americans and blonde, or that they come from Blackwater. And so that's what they've been doing since the fall of South Africa, when they started this private security contractors. So in terms of history, understand that intervention has constantly been happening to Haiti, and because we don't have a European father, and we don't have China and Russia the way Venezuela and Cuba has China and Russia, we are on our own today. So we won our independence in 1804. In 2004, and it's significant, 200 years after our slavery, the European came back and decided to do direct colonialism through the United Nations. And so the way they conduct their colonialism doesn't actually change. It's just the names change, but it's really George Soros weaponized charity is the same thing as what the missionaries were doing with the Dominican priests and the Jesuit priests, and telling you they're saving your soul. Now they don't tell you they're saving your soul anymore. They tell you they're giving you charity. But what they're doing is giving jobs to their own people. That's what foreign aid is. The only real aid to Haiti is the Haitian diaspora remittances. And of course, they have finally, because we're totally under occupation, used their Negroes. And I when I say Negroes, I want you to spell it Kneegrow. They use their Negroes to carve into that remittances by having a deal with Western Union and the other transfer companies. So they take $1.50 out of money that I might send to a project I'm doing in Haiti or to my family members. So now they're taxing the Haitian diaspora. The Haitian diaspora remittances come to about $3 billion a year, and is what keeps the Haitian people alive. So these are the. If I miss anything very important that you want to talk about in terms of history, please let me know.
Thank you. No, and by all means, I really, really appreciate that in-depth answer. It touched on actually even a couple questions I was going to ask you, and so I really appreciate it. I want to ask you, as you mentioned, a lot of these European, imperialist, colonizing, powers, nations have really been, putting their dirty little greedy hands all over Haiti, including the United States, the Euro-Americans. What are Haiti's riches? There is a lot of wealth in the ground in Haiti. What are some of the riches within this island nation of Haiti that has driven so many external forces into Haiti to gobble it up and to bring folks to enslave and just think about this, and we've talked about this offline, that just the utter hypocrisy, the notion to call black folks shiftless. Well, it doesn't get any more shiftless than you stealing somebody else's land and then not even having the audacity to work that land yourself, but then to go someplace and actually rob, and kidnap human beings and bring them to that land that you just stole and have them work that. So what are Haiti's riches? I know they're vast, but if you can tell us what they are.
Absolutely. So, besides the people, Haiti geographically, our geographical space is lucrative and very important for the European. So I'll start there, right? We have the Windward Passage, where all the shipping lines go through. And I say constantly, because I want Haitians to understand this, because they're not being taught by their so-called leaders what they have. They are bought into this idea that the poorest in the Western Hemisphere. But all the ships that go through that shipping line, remember, so you have Guantanamo Bay that the United States has taken from Cuba, which is where the shipping lines go, and then you have Haiti. Haiti actually, even with all this intervention, kept Mole Saint Nicolas, kept these spaces. But today, the European just, it's their military base de facto. Mm-hmm. But so the first thing to understand is that because of our location, we are very important to the United States. Besides the commercial importance of having this geographical space where you can get from the Atlantic to the Pacific, right? So you can go down that shipping lane and then go through the canal, the Panama Canal, and you're right there. Otherwise, you would have to go all the way around, maybe now to Puerto Rico. But before then, you would have to go all the way around to Argentina to get there. So it's a good location. Geopolitically, it's an important location because we are kind of the weakest link between Cuba and Venezuela, two places where the United States hasn't actually implemented to the fullest extent its Manifest Destiny and Monroe Doctrine. So to take Haiti is a good platform to then go after Cuba and Venezuela, which they are doing right now, and they do. When I said 66 million years ago, the dinosaurs were destroyed by a nuclear winter, and it hit Haiti and the Yucatan in that space. the remains of that is called iridium, and it's one of the most important metals to use in spacecraft because it's heat resistance. When I first started, the geologists that were teaching me told me that 1 ton of iridium is worth $45 billion. Now, 20, 30 years later, when Europeans, people are starting to see that whole Haitian mountains have been lifted out behind this 15-year UN cloak. They would come in, they would bring in all of their resources, and then within 6 months, a mountain that you have known was there since you were a child is gone. That's our iridium. Right. If you look online right now, they'll tell you that iridium, at least the last time I looked, was 45 million as opposed to 45 billion per ton. Now they're saying it's 45 million per ton. Either way, we are a land of mountains after mountains. Right. Iridium alone could
that's right.
move Haiti from its awful living standards and give us clean water and education and so forth, okay? But besides all of that, the other things that you're very familiar with, like gold and copper and bauxite, Haiti has tons of this. You know, the limestones in Haiti create all of the various edifices, the Notre Dame, the Versailles, all of these edifices of France. When you sit there and when you sit in those pews and you go to Notre Dame, that timber, that oak, that is from Haiti. Their marble, to this day, Haitian marble is the best marble that Spain and all of these people use in their wonderful palaces and wonderful American Mac mansions. But we are not told any of that. The people who excavate this thing are immigrants that came to Haiti from the Middle East after the United States came in close to the early 1900s. The families are what we call the Haitian oligarchy. They are not more than 13, and they're less than 1% of the population, and they own about 98% of the economic wealth. So you know we're enslaved. But when you read the media about Haiti, you will never have them talk about this because the corporations own ally with this oligarch, this what back in the 80s they used to call the morally repugnant Haitian elites. The families of Bijou, Merv, Accra, Brant, Boulos, these families come from the Middle East. Just like if you look in the, American communities of Black communities, you'll see South Koreans and you see Arabs. There is a purposeful way of really rewarding, let's say, the brothers of some general that the United States is using in the space of that South Korea, or in that space in Saudi Arabia or Lebanon. They will reward their family members with an exit pass into our communities. And then they will reward them with various visas and so forth, because we are not valued. And so in Haiti, we have gold. The United States never admitted to the gold until after the earthquake, and Haitian geologists say that we have more gold than anywhere else in the Western Hemisphere. But the United States says it's 20 billion worth of gold. Remember, the gold in the Dominican Republic, right next to us, has been being mined for the last 10 years by Barrick Gold. And even today, they say that they still have 31 billion even though it's being and has been exploited for more than 10 years, they still have 31 billion. So Haiti can't just have 20 billion. So we have gold. They have admitted that we have 8 billion in copper, but just always triple 100% what they say. So we have gold, copper, limestone, marble, uranium, iridium, and most important, Haitian geologists say that Haitian oil, the oil that's in our waters and in our territory, is like a swimming pool compared to Venezuela's cup of water. So imagine, there is no way the United States is going to let go of Haiti with all these resources. So they tried doing the earthquake to take over the spaces, the shorelines, and then the islands where we have they have access to this oil. I've seen the president of Haiti admit, I think 120 billion. No one really knows how much that oil is, but we know that they try to take Lago Nav. Lago Nav is an island that's on right there in the coast of Port-au-Prince, and so in those waters is where you have this sanctuary, and so and then below us is Venezuela with all of its oil. The country right next to us, Cuba, as you know, has resources that are now being assisted by China and Russia. The United States doesn't want that to happen to Haiti. And so that's why recently, for instance, right, the way colonialism works right now is with the George Soros weaponized charity that becomes your shadow government, racist paradigm, of course, because charity can never give you any agency, and it's patriarchal and racist. But that's what they do to Haiti. They keep saying that we need charity when, with any one of those resources, each Haitian would be a millionaire. So that's kind of why the United States built its largest embassy in the Western Hemisphere in tiny Haiti that it says has no resources after 2004. It built billions of dollars of this. I don't think it's the fourth largest U.S. embassy in the world.
That's right.
Is in Haiti.
That's right.
It's because of our resources, the ones that they deny.
That's right. Gigantic. And yeah, that's a great point. Why would they build a gigantic embassy if there was nothing there to be gained? And this brings me to my next question, and bear with me, because I know I'm for certain most Americans are not aware of the utter hypocrisy that leaves the mouth of U.S. government officials, whether it's the people that are in Congress, whether it's people that occupy 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, whether it's the corporate media, which I, see as it's another branch of government itself, the way they work in cahoots with the Pentagon and the State Department, just kind of parroting whatever narratives that are being put out there, never challenge them when the White House or the State Department says, oh, we got to go to war with this country. It's, there's an evil dictator there. The United States is one of the greatest hypocrites because, as you know, the U.S. adores dictators, brutal, bloody dictators. And so when we look at your nation, our nation, the nation, and I say, even though I'm not from Haiti, as you said, Haiti, we black people of African ancestry, we owe so much to Haiti because those are our brothers and sisters who were enslaved in Haiti. Those are our brothers and sisters who are in Haiti right now that are being subjected to brutal oppression, from the likes of the United States, France, Canada, and so forth. But it was the Duvaliers, brutal dictators, Papa Doc and Baby Doc. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I want you to get into this, how they were financed all the way by the United States. The United States, who has some of the most powerful and far-reaching intelligence services, the CIA, the FBI. We can keep going on, all these different alphabet cops that do nefarious things throughout the world. If they know, they knew exactly about the Tonton Macoute and these, secret police that the Duvaliers were sending to brutalize and to rape and murder Haitians. And if you could talk about that and then expound upon that, the role that, for instance, the Clintons have played, the likes of the Clintons have played within Haiti, because the Clintons, unfortunately, as you know, you've lived here for such a long time. Far too many of our brothers and sisters adore the Clintons, adore Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. They call Bill Clinton the first black president because he could play saxophone. He was cool, but at the same time, he was, he was incarcerating masses and masses of black people throughout the U.S. and doing all kinds of nefarious things throughout the globe. If you can talk about the role that they played, and then finally with that part of the question, if you can talk about the other aspect of hypocrisy. The U.S. talks about interference. Don't interfere in our elections. You interfered in the 2016 elections, Russia. These allegations. You interfered. But at the meantime, as we know, the United States, not only do the United States interfere with elections, but the United States, as you know, murder elected leaders such as Patrice Lumumba in Congo. What they did with Dr. Mohammed Mossadegh in Iran and Jacobo Arbenz in Guatemala and then and so many thereafter, including Salvador Allende. But then looking at Haiti, what they did to Aristide, and if you can talk about that hypocrisy, that interference, and why the likes of Aristide, why was Aristide so? Why were they so threatened? Why did they feel so threatened by Aristide? What was Aristide planning for the Haitian people that the U.S. was so threatened by? I can think of nobody else but yourself that can answer that question in such a great fashion that will educate not just myself but also our viewers. So the floor is yours again, madam.
My goodness. Well, thank you so much, and I feel your passion. I live this, so it's not abstract. I am a result of what the United States was doing that forced my parents to leave Haiti and come to the United States. When my father left Haiti, he had a small little business as a chauffeur. And so the United States literally put Haitians back into slavery when it came to occupy us from 1915 to 1934. And what it left us with afterwards, we had an indigenous army. It had destroyed that indigenous army and created its sort of Fort Benning army. And it left that army to maintain U.S. interests. Today, they call that army a police because Aristide, after he suffered the coup d'etats in the hand of this U.S. Created army, got rid and demobilized the army. And so the United States right now we have 15,000 militarized Haitian police. So it's sort of the same thing. And a dictatorship under the cloak of elections rigged and doctored by Obama and Mrs. Clinton. Elections. And so that's why it's so, when you talk about American, there's nothing that comes out of U.S. politician and the deep state. Like I said, the deep state for us, is not abstract because those career diplomats have been all over Africa. That's right. And have been there for 40 years. The ones in Haiti, we know them. They don't change when the U.S. presidents change. Mm-hmm. Folks like Michel Sisson, who is now the current ambassador in Haiti, started in Haiti in 1986 with Duvalier. Yeah. Do you understand? And she's still there today as the ambassador, and she's under Trump now. But, it doesn't matter who the president is. This cadre of ambassadors and foreign service people, when you talk about hypocrisy, when you talk about lies, they are the epitome. They commit genocide and then come back home and face their children as if they are civilized people. And I say this because Michel Sisson, people like, oh my God, these Harvard graduates, Paul Farmer, all of these, Jim Yong Kim over at the World Bank, they're all about maintaining this genocide that goes on with our people, our Black people, and the global South. And so after the United States left Haiti in 1934 with this army, there came in 1957 a puppet named Duvalier. Duvalier, like Mobutu, were folks that were financed to maintain American interests. And at that point in time, the hypocrisy was that the reason why the United States had to keep this human rights violator, this guy who is from 1957 to 1986, father and son, almost 30 years, kept Haiti on a lockdown. Had all of these paramilitary troops to counter, because the United States had its own military in Haiti with their army. Duvalier created his palace, Tonton Macout's, to maintain his power, so that he had a counteract to all the army. Today we have the same thing. The new Duvalier, his name is Jovenel Moïse. They call themselves the Ball Party, PHTK, created by the George Soros NGOs, created by their consultant, created Haitian people who have been groomed to maintain U.S. interests, and this idea that, making Haiti a brothel and taking our land and giving it to Europeans so that they can come in and have these beautiful meals out of our wonderful Haitian cuisine and then gorge themselves on our children and our women. That's development for the European. Duvalier killed between 60 to 100,000 Haitians between 1957 and 1986. You could not speak. There was no free press. And the United States kept him in power, even though, people like my father fought against it his whole life, kept him in power under the guise that he was not going to allow communism into Haiti. So that was their reason, and the bloody European and American academics bought that and made it as if that it was a reason. And so just like today, the academics out here will give you all kinds of reasons why the United States is in Haiti with the UN, as if we are innately cannibals and we need this force. Even the Congressional Black Caucus, the type of reform that they want for Haiti is exactly the same sort of Europeanized development that we fight against, right? They'll bring in what they call the Hope Act, which is, sweatshops. So instead of investing in our agriculture, because 70 to 70 to 80% of Haitians are agrarian, are peasants. They don't invest in that. They want us to come in and deal with their export economy and make these sweat and come into these sweatshops and live that sort of life so that they can go ahead and make all of the kind of profit over people. So dictatorship was brutal, and dictatorship was maintained by the media as a counter to communism. Today, dictatorship is maintained, and it's cloaked by the media as elections and bringing democracy. The United States supported the Tonton Macoutes, maintained them in their paramilitary, and today, November 13th, there was, because the people were always on the streets asking for the resignation of this puppet government, the puppet government did exactly what the Tonton Macoutes of Duvalier would do. They went into a place called La Saline and massacred the people. And they had on police uniforms. And when they came into the community didn't expect that they would massacre them. Tonton Macoutes were also like a paramilitary. Some of them, just kind of bought their uniforms and put them on and were given specific things to do by the CIA and the intelligence agency that trains them. I'm going to give you two names. So the Tonton Macoutes and dictatorship was maintained by the United States. People like my parents and the generation before me fought them, but never had the resources to unseat them. Same thing is happening right now. I'm fighting like my dad and Haitians before me, but every time the people in the streets fight the Jovenel Moïse military and police and what they call gangs right now, right? The police will just take off their uniform and become the gangs, or put on the uniform and or give uniforms to gangs. Or like I said, U.S. military comes in, trains them, joins them, and becomes snipers to disperse the crowd. They will kill indiscriminately in order to hype up the fear. So that's kind of what we have lived. And like I said, the most recent Tonton Macoutes are what they're calling in the media right now, Haitian gangs. They are created by the Haitian politicians that are part of this status quo, working for the corporatocracy and the Haitian oligarchy to stop the people from rising up and saying no and taking over and participating in the economic and social life of their own country. So what you have, I'll give you, so all those people died. And in 1991, after the Berlin Wall fall, finally there was a democratically elected president. But within 7 months, the United States used their paramilitary. Duvalier was taken down, Jean-Claude Duvalier, the son, in 1986. At that time, the United States, the reason the United States knew about Haiti's oil. The United States knows about Haiti's resources because it does all sorts of sort of like under the cloak of international research, UNDP research. It finds these things and then it stopped the wells because they had wells and so on. So the hypocrisy you're talking about is what the United States does. There's no words that come out of the U.S. mouth and their representative that's legitimate. So, for instance, when we're talking about hypocrisy. In 2010, excuse me, no. In 2009, the United States brought in Bill Clinton as UN envoy to Haiti. And the reason they did that was because the United States was having a conflict with the coon country that they had given the lead for Haiti, and that was Brazil. So Brazil was wanted to become part of the UN system, and part of those reasons was really putting Haiti under the bus. And Brazil was the commanding officer, commanding unit of MINUSTA. Yeah. MINUSTA in 2004 came into Haiti when the United States destroyed the Haitian bicentennial, got rid of the democratically elected government. The reason they had to get rid of Aristide was because Aristide wanted to use the resources of the country to elevate the country. And also, and one of the ways, as you know, with Venezuela, that the United States would squeeze the country and make the people hate their government is by squeezing them financially. And so they had squeezed Aristide in every which way financially by not allowing the country to have any credit. Imagine you, as a person, you in America, you have no credit. You can't rent a car. You can't, without credit, you've got to pay cash. And that's what they did to Haiti. And so when they squeezed Haiti like that, they rise up all the prices. They create all sorts of chaos. And that's what they did to Aristide before they took him down. And they took him down by training paramilitaries in the Dominican Republic within the Dominican army. They brought in Haitians and trained them to go into Haiti in 2004, led by a guy named Guy Philippe. So Guy Philippe became the new Tonton Macoute, like post Duvalier, right? The United States had trained them in Ecuador, and then they brought in, when I say they trained Haitians, I know they trained Haitian doctors. They just brought all kinds of Haitians they could get from everywhere and trained them to go and kill other Haitians. And what I'm saying to you, they do in every country. In the Congo, they use the Rwandans. They use Museveni's troops. This is what they do. Just like they created ISIS, right? So they created Tonton Macoutes. They created Guy Philippe's cadre of people. And then they had them go in and shoot the police that Aristide was trying to create to be community police. So today they're doing the same thing. They've created a cadre of U.S. trained Haitian police. Okay? Now think of the how what's that word? Perverse that is. Uh-huh. The same police you see constantly killing black folks in America. That's who they sent to train Haitian how to become police. Yeah. And so these guys learn all kinds of racist ways to be, and so they learn really the corruption. So in November 13, 2019, there was a massacre. They don't even know how many people were killed, but thousands of people in this particular place in La Saline were displaced. And the reason they did that was to chill out the momentum and the mobilization against this U.S. puppet government, which was consultant created and Digicel voted in. Digicel is a Clinton Foundation company that was given the cell phones. Now, with this technology, they can cripple momentum of a mobilizing movement, because every Haitian now has their little phone, which means they've got your GPS. They know where to get you. They've got the drones. They know where to find you to kill you.
That's right.
They've got what they did with the election, and how this is so hypocritical when you see that they just spent the last 2 years talking about Russiagate, which is like, that's why I cannot deal with the demon rats whatsoever, because the Democrats in America project this idea of being more human,
Right.
of being able to, love Black people and other people that are non-white, and about democracy. The reason why this is worse than the Republicans is because they lull you into this false sense, because what they say and what they do are two different things. So they will say, you see the Hillary and Bill Clinton in South Carolina, North Carolina, at some, with their hands around the mothers of police brutality, folks that have been killed, right? At the same time, these are the people that created the mass incarceration bills, the Bidens and so forth. And I the best line I heard recently was a guy that said, Brother Diallo, I think, he said, if you vote for Joe Biden and you're Black, punch yourself in the face, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, these people have been selling us, not us, selling the integrated Negroes, remember, Knee, the line that they are fair. They are not fair. They have no honor. They are liars to the nth degree. And here is the lie. While they are running around talking about how Trump used Russia to win the election, I can tell you that under Obama, the United States rigged 3 elections in Haiti. Not 1, but 3. Yeah. 2011, 2015, 2016. They rigged them. I mean, straight up. The Haitian Dupont, his name is Dupont. The Haitian Electoral Council said, I gave Cheryl Mills, who's the consigliere for Mrs. Hillary Clinton when she was at the Secretary of State, right? Cheryl Mills was also the lawyer for Bill Clinton doing the impeachment with Monica Lewinsky. They go way back, okay? These people are liars without honor, without, they should not be in civilized society. They should be under the jail for all their corruption, right? But they're seen as, Donna Brazil, as some sort of like what represents us. Right. They don't represent us as Black people. These integrated Negroes are wretched, ratchet. So, for instance, the Haitian Electoral Council said, I gave one result to Cheryl Mills, and they came back and gave us another one. And then they got the Organization of American States to substantiate that Mateli had actually won to go to the runoff when he was number 3 and he had not won. Okay, so then we got Mateli, the grossest, most sexist, most a guy who's a bisexual and who uses it as a weapon against people, saying, for instance, that he was going to do all kinds of sexual acts to Aristide, for instance. That was what his songs were about. He was going to sodomize this person and sodomize that person, and that's the person that Bill and Hillary Clinton made our president. And then they used Wycliffe Jean in Hollywood and Sean Penn to legitimize them, giving them Netflix movies and all kinds of things for the unsuspecting American who doesn't know how misogynist or that Michel Martelly was a former Tonton Macoute. So that's where we are. They threaten Aristide. Not even Aristide, they threatened Aristide and essentially just deported him to Africa. But it is ultimately like, that's why we Haitians at the Free Haiti movement look at American politics in such a disdainful manner, in a contemptuous manner, because, there's nothing that the Democrats have said that they feel they're obligated to do, especially with regards to the Black community. So in 1992, when Clinton said that he was going to not do exactly the same thing as what Bush, the CIA guy, did with putting Haitians in Guantanamo, he did. He maintained that same policy. And when Obama came into office, there was all this idea that somehow because he was a Black man, he may not be as imperialistic, okay? So now we know. We have Libya. We have Haiti. We know AFRICOM has grown under Obama in a manner unprecedented and probably couldn't have been done without scrutiny. So that's the problem with the demon rats. There's no scrutiny when they're in office that's as intense as when the Republicans are in office. Yeah. Because when the Republicans are in office, then all the white liberals run up and down and jump up and down and say, oh, that doesn't look like me. When in fact, when they're in office, it's worse off for us because there's nobody out here yelling and screaming. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question. Yeah. U.S. hypocrisy. Haiti is under occupation through fake election, fake weaponized aid, in a UN proxy army where U.S. police and U.S. intelligence just puts on that uniform, that UN uniform, and come in and do whatever they want.
Thank you. No, you definitely answered that question. Definitely. I wanted to ask you as we start to draw to the, towards the end of the interview. I didn't want to be remiss in terms of not, making sure that I asked this question, and that has to do with, and you touched on it a bit, the corporate media's, the U.S. corporate media's complicity with the colonial narrative. That's, if you just want to touch on that.
Yes. Just like in the United States, right? Whenever someone talks about white supremacy, the default answer is black on black crime. Mm-hmm. So that's the colonial narrative, right? Mm-hmm. So in order to maintain Haiti's oppression and exploitation, the United States has to create a narrative that Haiti has nothing, has no riches, right. And to make it seem as Haiti is violent, right? So they'll create circumstances, right? And so, but in essence, we just get more violent the more white folks stay in Haiti. So in 2006, the violent rate per homicide rate was 5.6 over 100,000. That was 2006. Today, 2019, it's over 10.2. So it's doubled. So the UN's presence in Haiti did not do anything but lift up our violence rate. And even so, it's less than the Dominican Republics because the European has been there longer. Yeah. The exploitation is deeper and more covert. Mm-hmm. It's higher in Bahamas. It's higher in Washington D.C. and so on and so forth. So the colonial narrative is that we have nothing and we're violent and we need white folks to come and save us. Yeah. So every young child. They use the Abrahamic religion, specifically, these evangelists who come in, and there's a lot of pedophilia. They bring their pathologies to us, And so that's where we are. I like to tell people like three of the biggest lies that they tell about Haiti. We already talked about the resources. We already talk about the black on black crime, and you can just look it up. Haiti's violence rate is less than most of the violence of the nations of the Western Hemisphere. Less than, okay? For instance, the Brazil has 54 times more violence than we have. Okay, forget about Mexico and so forth, all right? But we're the ones that have a UN peacekeeping troop.
Right.
So, but another big lie, for instance, is that Haiti forest cover is 2%. They always say that, right? Like we're denuded. But yet, our forest cover, even with all of the intervention and the plundering, is still 30 to 32%, which is comparable to the forest cover of the United States, Germany, and Spain, I believe. But greater than Ireland and England. The lands where you when you think of them, you think green. Haiti's forest cover is greater. Think of it. Imagine the green that you think of rainy England or Ireland. That's what you will still find in Haiti. So what you don't see is people like me. What you don't see, people like me who, as a cultural advocate, as a justice advocate, I bring my culture, right, to the world. I explain to people that American jazz came out of the Vodun drums in New Orleans, and all of that came out of, the second line came out of, how Haitians and the ancients lived and worshipped the passage and transformation of a person from the carnal to the spiritual, which is always part of us. I speak about the drums and the herbal cures and how the red earth of Haiti is being used by pharmaceuticals, for instance, to take to create superbug vaccines for pharmaceuticals, just the earth. And how with the UN, when it came into Haiti in 2010 after the earthquake, it came in 2004, but in 2010 after the earthquake, the UN brought cholera to Haiti. And without the Haitian sun, we would be dead. Like, there would have been a genocide, the genocide that they intended. I remember a U.S. black, another integrated Negro, they will come to me, but they don't want to be standing next to me because I'm too radical for whatever foundation money they're getting from the Clintons, right? But this person calls me up and said, listen, I'm at a meeting with United States Agency for International Development, and they intend to have 200,000 body bags. This was the first week of the Haitians were suffering from the cholera that was brought in by the United Nations troops. And instead of, working to get clean water to us, they ordered 200,000 body bags. And this woman, who's like I said, a Clintonite, felt that, that's why I said, even in hell, we have people that will give us a call and tell us, here's the genocide that expected of you. So the colonial narrative, essentially, just like in America, right? They make as if gangs in the ghettos, what they call the ghettos, is the greatest, biggest thing to black underdevelopment in America, not the system of white supremacy. The same way in Haiti, not the system of colonialism.
Thank you. And before I ask my last question, I really, really, really thank you for giving your time today. I know you have a busy schedule, but the information that you've provided in this interview is invaluable. It's priceless. It is priceless. And my message to the people that are watching right now if the information that you've been given, that you've just heard in this interview, you find is important, the worst thing you can do is not send this link to all your different networks, family members, friends. Please get the information out there, because as the sister just said, there are forces that are working against us African people, black people, whether you're in Haiti or outside or outside of Haiti, that are working, and that is the corporate media. They're working hard to make sure that this information is stifled. They're making sure that her voice and the information that she has is stifled, working hard because they know that the narrative that they're pushing will keep things going on in perpetuity. But if this information gets out, that there is a chance for more and more people to become enlightened and say, it's a call to action. I have to get involved. This is not on my watch, not in my lifetime. And that leads me to my last question. My last question to you is, to me, to our audience, you're an activist, you're an organizer, you've been on the ground, you have been a freedom fighter in this struggle for quite some time. So you're more than qualified to answer this question. What needs to be done for Haiti to once again to prosper, to achieve self-determination, and to become that jewel, as you said? There is if the people were benefiting from the vast wealth of Haiti, as you know, it would the infrastructure would be abound. There would be universal health care. There'd be universal education. All these things that, we look glossy-eyed when people want to talk about, oh, look at Europe. They've got, look at Canada. They've got free education, free health care. Well, if Haiti was left alone and was able to benefit, we know that we would see much of the same and even more so. So what needs to be done? What would you tell folks right now? What needs to happen in order for Haiti to achieve prosperity and self-determination?
We have to end the U.S. occupation behind fake aid, fake elections, and the UN military lies. So that's why I work with Free Haiti. Exactly, we have to free Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, because I've been here for so long, we need everyone that's listening to me to support the work that you do, the work that I do, in order so that everyone gets to get the right information, right? Because the mainstream media, or what I call the shamestream media, is not about providing you with information that's going to liberate you. It provides you with information that's going to keep you in fear of a country that never bombed anybody, never attacked anyone, but yet is suffering the worst of atrocities from people that come in the name of humanitarianism. And that's why it's so perverse, right? I say specifics: military, media, and resources, money. Money, media, and resources. This is what Haiti needs, okay? Recently, October 17th, about 3 million Haitians were out in the streets. And it's a lesson that I want people to hear and learn. We're in the time of African Liberation Day, and Kwame Ture used to say that the Civil Rights Movement was a movement of mobilized Africans. We were mobilized but not organized. And he said that when you're mobilized but not organized, then people, whatever gain you make during that moment of mobilization, can be taken away or revered because you're not organized to push back. So I'm creating and have been creating for all these years an infrastructure so that no matter what the European throws at you, there is a template and you stick to that template. We can't fight the way the Civil Rights Movement fought. We can't fight the way the Haitian Revolution people fought. We have to fight within what's in our hands. But we understand that, okay, so on October 17th, 2019, excuse me, 18. There was it was for Jean-Jacques Dessalines' day, and everyone went out into the street, and they were saying, where is the Petro-Caribe money? This is the money that Venezuela gave to Haiti. Venezuela honorably gave to Haiti directly to the Haitian government. The United States, when it gives aid, it gives it back to their own companies, their own what they call NGOs, which is a hoax, right? They're just money laundering, right? The money goes from the left hand to the right hand, and it just never gets to Haiti. Venezuela gave us $4.2 billion in Petro-Caribe loans, monies, and parts of it was supposed to be used for Haitian infrastructure. It went to the U.S. puppet government, and that U.S. puppet government wasted it. Okay, so Bill and Hillary Clinton raised $13.6 billion and left Haiti with cholera, left the Red Cross, like this is outside of the $13 billion, there were private donations. Red Cross raised $1 billion, half a billion, excuse me, and they only built like 6 houses. I always say one more. Don't give that to them. They did 6 houses. So it's African Liberation Month, May right now. We remember Kwame Ture. We remember what happened to Patrice Lumumba and how the UN and the United States helped to kill him. We remember what happens to Aristide. So that every time there is a African who rises up, whether he's Martin or Malcolm, Toussaint or Dessalines, he is killed. So let's remember that. When that white savior comes into your face to tell you that he understands, let's remember that what he understands has nothing to do with your interests. His feeling is fine, but we have to organize based on our interests and go after understanding that, get rid of all that emotional thing. For me right now, I say that what we need is to be very clear as a people about specifics. We want no more open sewers in Louds County, Alabama. We want no more lead and toxic water in Flint, Michigan. And I don't care if you are a Democrat or Republican. Within this system that we're still dealing with, that I promise you must be taken down. That system must be taken down. The system of profit over people. But as we work within that system, we need these specifics. And I think that that's what people must understand. That you don't have to be anti-Pan-Africanist or anti-immigration. You have to say that I am worth more than what I am getting from these politicians. So for Haiti, we are worth more than we're getting from these puppets. They must be taken down. Jovenel Moïse cannot stay in office. He wasn't elected by the Haitian people. He doesn't represent us. And we need to get our sovereignty back. And to do that, I say, these are the three principles that I have put out based on all my experience, all the work I've done in the line of dead that's behind me that holds me up today, because so many people have died. And I'm only here by the grace of the ancestors. So I say, let's look at why Haitians leave Haiti. Why did my parents leave Haiti? It was because of U.S. intervention in Haiti. Well, stop intervening in Haiti. Go to your country. Don't come to my country. Don't come to Haiti. Go to Washington, D.C. and stop intervention. Support one of these people talking about stopping intervention. Push it for Libya, push it for Congo, push it for Haiti. So we say the three principles that let's have one Western Hemisphere minimum wage, period. Let's have one passport for the Western Hemisphere. And Haiti cannot be a nation state because it doesn't have its own currency. it can be squeezed constantly. Let it be a World Heritage Site for that. Anyone who wants to come. We could be like Monte Carlo. You can sell. You can't sell those land. It only belongs to the people that had it. Just like Taiwan, you can't sell the land. So I think for Haiti, I would push those who want to help us. I want you to push this. One minimum wage for the Western Hemisphere. If you don't want Mexicans to come to America, pay them the same $15 you're going to pay them in America, right. And they won't come. If you want, so you don't even have to build that wall, because people would rather stay in their country. Stop the colonialism and don't have these massacres sponsored by U.S. Yeah. Leave Venezuela alone to decide what it wants to do with its own country, and then you won't have all of this death and destruction and possible nuclear war right here in the Western Hemisphere. Let's really not look at what the media is telling you and the demon rats are telling you. They're telling you that this is humanitarian aid to Venezuela, just like they told you that this is humanitarian aid to Haiti. I want folks to understand the same thing that's happened to Venezuela is happening and has happened to Haiti, that there's no difference, that we do have those resources. So if you want to help us, we have a platform, we have a template. Kanga Mandele, Kanga Bafioti, Kanga Najoki. Our template is that. And it starts from the Haitian Revolution. And we carry it forward. And that means that we don't trust the colonists. We don't have to trust the colonists. That doesn't mean that there's not one or two white folks that could be our allies. As a matter of fact, I'm asking Russia to be Haiti's allies, because that's what we need. We don't have an ally like Cuba and Venezuela. So Free Haiti wants Russia. If anyone's listening, we need that ally. And we need the media that might come with that, and the military that might come with that. Because like Frederick Douglass says, power concedes nothing without a demand, and you have to have some sort of leverage. Without leverage, we're just talking. So money, media, military. I need resources. I've been doing this for a long time. If you want to support what I'm doing, make a donation. Go to our website. Read the information. Circulate the information. Circulate this brother's work, and let's build that organization in the manner that we can build it. Because mobilization is not enough. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And what is the website? Lastly, what is the website?
It's my name, Ezili Danto at yahoo.com. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that's my website. EziliDanto.com. That's my website. My email is ERZILI my name, at yahoo.com. And you can find me, Ezili Danto, on YouTube if you want to see more interviews like this one. And I have a Patreon that I just started. If you want to help me continue, you can enter into any of these platforms. You know, we are here. Share this brother's work, because obviously has the courage to put Ezili Danto on. Most people do not. So I thank you very much for having me, and for recognizing that Free Haiti does exist.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as we leave, I just want to reiterate, please spread this interview far and wide. Go to her website, email her, get it out far and wide. This is very, very important. And those acts, just doing those alone, those minor acts, those are little chinks in the so-called king's armor. And more chinks will bring, these imperialists down to their knees. And it starts with information. There is an information warfare going on, and our minds are the battlefield. And it's time for us to reclaim our minds, get the information. And as you have enlighten yourselves, or are being enlightened with information, get that information. Don't keep it to yourself. And so again, this is Solomon Kamajan on Critical Insight for Your World News. And on behalf of our special guest today, Ezili Danto, of the Free Haiti movement. I really, really thank you. Thank you so much. This is Your World News, the place where journalism and activism are not and will never be mutually exclusive. Until next time, peace. Thank you, sister. Peace.
Another way. Movement, music, move into it. Put a fist up, prove it to us. This is much more than music to us. This is beauty and strife. And if you know about the music, then you know about life. This is movement, music, move into it. Put a fist up, prove it to us. This is much more than music to us. This is beauty and strife. And if you know about the music, then you know about life.